This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason. How's it going?
Hey, John.
This new year?
Hey, it's going good.
New year now, huh? Is this our first one of the new year?
Yeah,
I think
it
so.
is the first one of the new year.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and it's like as I promised last time, it's like going to bring in the new year with my best of the last. And the worst as well, because, I always want to give things like one final kick. So, to make sure you get things over with.
Mm-hmm. So what do you have for us this time? All this.
Okay.
Tell us what the best was,
Yeah.
I think, is really what you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like just like last year, it's just like another top 10 list. And, it's like the thing that, the way I want to do this is, it's like I want to look at stuff that, like really, like just new stuff that changes the game up and really impressed me. Because, if I wanted to, like, talk about the stuff that, I was that I was, like, so really, continuously that I really enjoyed over the past year, I would just, like, cut and paste a lot of stuff that I picked last year. It's like you'd still see Scalped, you'd still see The Walking Dead, you'd still see 20th Century Boys on here. But, I can't really say much more than the fact that, these series that were excellent last year, they're still excellent this year. So just because I didn't didn't put in a series from last year on here doesn't mean that it suddenly stopped sucking. It doesn't mean that it started sucking. It just means that I want to spread the wealth. I want to talk about new series that I like, stuff that really impressed me with how it's like a series debuted or stepped up its game, or ended in a spectacular fashion, of which there are several for this list right here. Yeah, but let's see. Yeah, so overall, it's like in any years, like Blade of the Immortal would still be the a sensible number 0 on the list. The one that I want to see more than any other series. I still want to see a new volume of that. But also Nipping at Seals are also new volumes of 20th Century Boys, and certain other series that are on this list as well. But enough chatter. Let's get on with the list.
Alrighty.
All right, coming in at number 10, we have a surprise here. We have X-Men Sword, No Time to Breathe. And as those of you who were listening last year will notice that I didn't do anything from Marvel last year, and that's because Marvel, they produce a lot of entertaining series. A lot of stuff is also mired in continuity, and also just you're still advancing its own storyline. Plus, just the fact that a lot of stuff with superheroes these days, it has to be really excellent to stand out. And the more I thought about this particular series, the more I liked it. The more I realized it merited a spot on this list, because it's a very, very dense, very well and intricately written and illustrated series for the most part. That I would have liked to have seen more of. But unfortunately, because it was positioned as a ongoing series that was canceled after 5 issues, instead of it should have been done as a mini series that I could have wanted to see more of later on. If we're never going to see more of this particular take on the series, and this comes courtesy of writer Kieran Gillen and artist Steven Sanders, and it's basically the story of Abigail Brand, who's introduced to us in Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men series, and how she runs SWORD, our Sentient Worlds Observation and Research Division, with all of her buddy Beast and Lockheed, and the various other people under her command. And the rest of the series is basically how professional Marvel Dick, Henry Gyrick, basically concocts a plan to get all alien life forms off of Earth. But from there, there's a lot of other subplots there, such as Agent Brand's half alien brother being abducted by the mercenary Death's Head, a bunch of sentient rocks attacking Mount Rushmore, and also impending alien invasion. There's a lot going on in these 5 issues, and it's really. And for those who complain that a lot of Marvel stuff is too decompressed or takes too long to go on these days, nah, that's not the case here. There's almost a complete story in every single issue here, and I would have loved to have seen more. And you can just attach your standard if all superhero titles were as good as this one, then the market would be a much better place. Modifiers to here. Then yeah, that's how I feel. I'd love to see more of it, but we're not. But at least we're going to see more stuff from Gillen at Marvel, especially now he's attached to the hip to the X-Men franchise, which I think is a good thing. But it's also not the last we'll hear from him on this list. So, yeah, moving on, we got number 9, which is Tsutomu Nihei's Biomega. I told you this is going to appear on my top 10 list, and here it is. Because, it's like, no, it's not the most original series out there, but it's definitely like a great, as I said on the podcast when I talked about it, it's a great example of how to do style over substance. I mean, you've got, it's like just how to do action with a lot of style, a lot of flair, and also eventually tell a decent story as well. Not an original one, but at least one that knows what it wants to do, and accomplishes that pretty well. And I also just think it represents a good step up from how, just from Nihei's previous storytelling abilities. The fact that he actually does understand the fundamentals of storytelling. He demonstrates that here. Looking forward to seeing how this series wraps up in the next in its final 2 volumes in February and May of this year. All right, coming number 8 is the Meta Barons by Alejandro Jodorowsky and Juan Jimenez. Now, even if the series had a crap script, it probably would have just muscled its way on here just on the strength of Jimenez's art alone, which has some truly spectacular and weird and strange and frightening creatures as you're just interdimensional alien mind suckers, beings from parallel universes, and just all sorts of crazy ass shit. It's great stuff, but it also has a script from Jodorowsky that's so over the top that it approaches mythic proportions. While some of the while I do like the direction it takes with the title character at the towards the very end, I kind of would like to have seen more more consistency with how he appears in the ink call as well as Jodorowsky's previous utilization of the character. But still, it's a great. If you're looking to see why it's too bad we don't see more European comics over here, check this series out. It's crazy as shit, and I love it for it. All right. Coming right after that is Hellboy: The Wild Hunt. Now, I've talked for I mentioned previously that the BPRD has always been my cup of tea, but while the recent volumes have been kind of, well, sadly to say, a bit underwhelming for me, Hellboy actually managed to really step up its game this year. Because my main complaint with basically all major Hellboy stories is that they're all some sort of variation on some entity going, you are the beast of the apocalypse, it is your destiny to take over the world and rule it as your father Satan has demanded. And Hellboy going, no, screw you, I'm gonna live life the way I want. See, the Wild Hunt actually changes that, because it shows him. Not only does it add context, it's add context and focus to his quest, but also shows you that, hey, you know what? Yeah, you might be the beast of the apocalypse, but there's also another way out of here. And it also brought into context some of what his ultimate opposition is going to be, and what he's. And also a way for him to actually avoid, find a way around his fate, sure, he might be he might be the beast of the apocalypse. It doesn't mean he's going to have to destroy the world in the end. So I really like that. I'm actually looking forward to the next volume of Hellboy. Also worth mentioning is the other volume of Hellboy that was released this year, The Crooked Man and Other Stories. That's worth mentioning solely because the title story is also one of the few times that I've read a comic that has actually creeped me out. Because Richard Corbin's working there. It's he's done good stuff here, but god damn, looking at his depiction of rural American backwater stuff in the Appalachians. It's, you just look at that and hey, I recommend if you're reading it at night with by flashlight, it will just creep you the hell out, because it is just It's scary. It's like the detail, the weirdness that he brings to the work right there, as well as Mignola's like understanding of like the traditions of the region. It's something else, and highly recommended too. All right, moving up the list to number 6, we have Berserk, Volume 34. Now, regular readers know that I love this series, and I like to talk about just about every new volume that comes out. But Volume 34 is also notable in the fact that it's also that after Dark Horse has like finally caught up to the series, this is going to be like the last. This is like one of the last volumes we'll see before we're going to see for a while. While Volume 35 is out in Japan, we're still waiting on when it's going to arrive here in English. But so 34 like is a great way to wrap up the series to end Dark Horse's most semi-regular run with it, because it's supposed to be a real game changer. I mean, not only is the art here some of the best that I've seen from mangaka Kentaro Miura, it's like there's some like, it also promises to be a real game changer in terms of the story, because while the series has always flirted with like how the world of fantasy invading this ostensibly realistic medieval world here, because like while there's all sorts of creepy shit going on in the world of Berserk, it's not an actual like full-fledged world of fantasy. That changes at the end of this volume when we get to see dragons, we get to see unicorns, we get to see all sorts of like fantasy creatures invading this world as the floodgates are thrown open, and like all these creatures just flow out of it. I wish we'd be getting more than one volume a year, but if doing this doing it once a year is what it takes for Miura to maintain this level of quality, then I hope then I'm cool with it. Although I will say that hey, if he it's like I hope he like makes good on this. It's a great, like I said, it's a game changer, but I hope he makes good on this, because like if Volume 35 shows up and like and it's just like all this stuff is ignored, then the knives are going to be out come next year. So stay tuned, watch his space, etc., etc., etc. All right. Now keeping the theme of worlds like gone horribly wrong, we've got at number 5, Crossed, Volume 1, from Garth Ennis and Jason Burrows. Now, Ennis is notable in the fact that he's got like a lot of familiar topics that he likes to talk about. Just like about the morality of the world. It's like characters with guns, characters with facial disfigurements, like all sorts of and it's like all sorts of men's interrelationships with each other. It's like also that, but he's also good at really recombining them in different ways. And with Crossed, he actually found himself in Stephen King territory, as you've got a bunch of characters who, as you got to like this world that has been transformed by this disease that basically robs people of their morality and just causes them to go like berserk and just like act on their like most base impulses right here. In short, you've got a bunch of characters from a Garth Ennis comic book attacking a bunch of normal people. It's a great concept, and and basically it's kind of like The Walking Dead in the sense that it asks the question of what do we do to keep ourselves human in a world that has gone mad? But its compact approach, like only 9, it's about 10 issues. 10 issues are clicked right here. It allows it to go for the throat and and get things and attack these issues in a way. It's like in a really logical and ruthless fashion. The next Cross series is going to be are written by David Laptham, and I've heard good things about it so far. Just the fact that it seems that they're apparently going to be like in a nice one-upsmanship with who can provide the most morally questionable scenario. Because while the first series has these characters trying to survive in the real world, like trying to hang on to their morality in the real world, the next series by Lapham apparently asks what kind of people are best equipped to survive in this kind of world. which basically which is because his main character is a child molester. I'm curious to see where he's going with that, because if it works, you might be seeing Volume 2 on here next year. If it doesn't, well, oh boy, it's gonna be a lot to answer for. Anyway, moving on to more palatable stuff. It's like we're actually going to the realm of Shonen Jump here with my number 4 pick, Slam Dunk by Takehiko Inoue. Now, as I said before, if you've been reading reading the blog for a while, you probably noticed that I've been highly critical of some of the volumes of Slam Dunk. Also, how I've eventually come around to it now that he's apparently hit it. The series has really finally hit its stride, as the main character, Sakuragi Hanamichi, has finally stopped being an idiot, as he's trying to finally display the skill that you'd expect from a guy who is a self-proclaimed basketball genius. And also, but it also works because even though I don't really care about basketball, I don't watch it at all. I don't care for more sports, period. But the way he depicts high school basketball here, especially on the court, just seeing this the strategy these guys display on on the court, and the way he depicts matches. I mean, it's all the sports action here is just as entertaining as any of the sci-fi action series that I've talked about previously in this. It's on this list. I mean, it's great. It's great action. I can finally understand why the series is so beloved over the world. Plus, it also has one of my favorite, if not the favorite, moment I've seen in comics last year, and that's when Sakuragi, who is during one match with one of their rivals, he's lost his edge because he's worried about being fouled out again, but then he just steps up at the very end and just as one of the other opposing teammates is about to score, which seems like a sure slam dunk, Sakuragi just steps up, gets in his face, and shuts him down. He fouls out, and that's it for him for the team. It's like he didn't score, but he did something more important. He broke the opposing team's momentum. That's what allowed his other team to take the cake at the end. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how how their current match lines up in the next volume or two. So anyway, it's kind of like with 20th Century Boys. Yeah, it's being released bi-monthly, which is a lot faster than a lot of other series. But I want this monthly. I want this stuff now. So yeah. So we'll keep waiting. Anyway, coming up to number 3 on the list, we have the other Kieran Gillen title I mentioned earlier, and that is Phonogram, the Singles Club. This features some phenomenal art from the artists of the previous collection, Jamie McKelvey. Now, I bought the original Phonogram series back in 2009 at Comic-Con, and I loved it. And so as soon as this came out in trade paperback, I wanted to pick it up. Now, World of Phonogram is basically just like a world where people can enact magic by using music. Now, what kind of magic they're able to do is not always clear, and just it's like I said, I don't think it's quite as concept that's easy to grasp as some others out there. But looking at the way it's described here, I mean, it's like the characters are so fully realized. The parts of the series that I do understand are nevertheless compelling, and even though it's I'm not familiar with nearly any of the music. No, not so I'm not familiar with the music. Instead, I've never actually heard a lot of the music they're talking about here. I want to go and listen to it. I want to go and find this. I want to go and listen to it myself because it just presents a really compelling and interesting world. It's and the things I can't grasp, I want to know more about it. I want to know more about these characters, and just seeing Jamie McKelvey's skill is really in terms of displaying characters and body movement is really great. Almost on par with that of someone like Steve Dillon. And Gillen tells a really really intricate and detailed script as these characters meet. It's meet and cross paths over one night at a dance club. Unfortunately, this series sold levels that are best described as sweet fuck all. So we're not going to be seeing Volume 3 anytime soon, if at all. So like that's tragedy, because I really would like to see a third volume to wrap this up. Plus it also gets a point because, well, the first series revolved around Phonomancer David Cole's efforts to prevent the resurrection of Britannia. Turns him into a supporting character here, but the series isn't any less for marginalizing such a fascinating character. All right, and with that, moving on to something much more recent at number 2, and that's Ex Machina, Volume 10, Term Limits. I picked this one over Volume 9 because, while Volume 9 is the one that basically convinced me that yes, the series was going to be was worthy of a spot on my top 10 list this year. 10 took it all the way. 10 took all that stuff and just brought it all the way home for a fantastic landing. It's can't really add a lot to what I said about the podcast, but I'll just say that it's a fantastic series. Not quite as good as Vaughan's Y the Last Man, but it's a great look at how an outsider can interacts with politics and how he winds up losing himself in the process despite his best intentions. Great stuff. Highly recommended, whether you pick it up in the deluxe editions or trade paperbacks. Now, those of you who've been listening to me for the last year, you probably remember something I said way back in March about the best thing that I read this year, and how I would love to read 9 more things that are better than it. Well, sad thing is that didn't happen. So in that case, those of you who were probably wondering who my top number 1 pick is, shouldn't come as a surprise that it is still Planetary Volume 4, Space-Time Archaeology. Yeah, because Volume 4 really made a lot of things clear to me. Just basically about how this is essentially like Ellis's basically his thesis on why why the Pulp Fiction tradition was so great, and why it was and how the writer of superhero comics just basically strangled that in its bed, and then also how it still managed to survive in its own ways, and how it influenced things around the way. But it's not just it's not like a screed or just like a message comic or anything. It's a great, fascinating story about three people, like Elijah Snow with the power of heat subtraction, Jackie Wagner, who's very strong and very fast, the drummer who likes doing weird stuff with technology, just how they want to investigate the world and find its strange things, and want to keep the world strange. Because that's the way it should be, and that's how, and try and find a way to eventually throw off the yoke of its old superhero traditions and find a new way forward. This series was many years, this volume in particular was many years in the making, and in the end, but reading it, you'll see that it flows if I had told you that it took Ellis and artist John Cassaday to 5 years to do the 9 issues completed here, you wouldn't be able to tell that, because it still flows together remarkably well. And it's just got so many awe-inspiring moments. I mean, just seeing the angels from from the opening 2-parter investigating an intergalactic spacecraft. Snow exploring the afterlife, and also just the look of the world where superhumans have taken over, and also just the visceral thrill that it's just me, someone who's been reading Warren Ellis Wildstorm comics for a while, just having one of his characters say "door" again. That's just me, but it's just seeing that right there. It's a beautiful moment, and just seeing, and it's all rendered beautifully by Cassaday. And it's he at the end he dedicates this to Ellis for making him a better artist, and that's true, because looking at this, it's like all this stuff. It's utterly fantastic, and it's like even though Wildstorm is no more as of this year, it's like I can't think of a better epitaph than this final volume. Yeah. So that let's see, that was my favorite. That's the best thing I read this year, and well, hey, if you either like it, dislike it, or hey, nothing will make me happier than hearing that anyone who's listening to this went out and tried at least one of these comics just to see what they thought. But that's how it is. But just to make real quick, just to end this thing on just as I want to kick some more things when they're done, real quick, the worst or most disappointing comics of this year. Because while Ellis wrote one of the best thing I read this year, he also had in writing one of the most disappointing. That would be Gravel Volume 3, The Last King of England. Basically, while I really liked the first one with Gravel, Bloody Liars, because it had a clear idea of what it wanted to do, and that's kill a bunch of bastards in really cool, interesting ways. Volume 3 just took all its potential. It's fascinating. It's potentially interesting. John Constantine as military man set up, and then just destroyed it. Basically shows you that Gravel's a man who destroys everything he touches. And you know what? Well, it would have been fascinating for him to see a man like that try to build something up. That didn't happen. In fact, Volume 3 just destroyed everything and just basically left me with the feeling that why the hell did I even read this in the first place? So do yourself a favor, just read Volume 1, Bloody Liars, skip the other two. Yeah. Then we got Mark Miller's contributions this year, because while I did like his Ultimate Avengers volume, Kick-Ass and Old Man Logan were generally pretty terrible. Kick-Ass was just awful in the way that his writing ticks just placed in the real world just came off as completely unbelievable and unrealistic. I couldn't believe just about a second of this stuff, and it was tried way too hard to be cool, and the movie was a lot better. It showed that this story can work better. It was a piece of fanboy wish fulfillment, but on the comic page it was just terrible and painful to read. And as for Old Man Logan, his Future Wolverine story, it read like some 13-year-old's Marvel Universe fan fiction. He had the energy that you'd expect from that, but also had all the writing skill of it. Absolutely terrible. But still, these things weren't nearly as bad as Gunsmith Cat's Burst, Volume 5. Because, it takes a special thing to basically make me go, you know what? I wish I had never bought this stuff in the first place. Because it started out basically with the feeling that he didn't that mangaka Kenichi Sonoda had no ideas for this series. He was just going for the series formula again, and then as it went on, it basically read that it was all right, but then with volumes 4 and 5, it just realized that, hey, you know what? He didn't have any ideas for it, and in the end, it just feels like he just gave up and said, you know what? To hell with this. I'm just going to go and dismantle things so I can never come back again. And to that, I say, thank God, because hey, it's like I like Raleigh, but you just completely ruined her as a character at the end. And there are some series that can pull off not nice bad guys win and make it feel satisfying and thought-provoking, but this isn't it. So overall, it's like, hey, I'm not interested in seeing more Gunsmith Cats again, and I'm certainly not interested in seeing any more series from Sonoda again. So, gonna draw the line into that and move on. So, here on out, new year, lots of fresh new possibilities, and I'll be hopefully talk about some of them, or just be rooting through the stuff I've read in the past couple weeks for material next time. So, wish you all hope your New Year's going great so far, and I will see you again in 2 weeks' time.
All right, we'll see you next time.
All right, later.
Bye.